I've got to say, after looking at the tank changes, I'm pretty happy overall with the direction Warrior is going in. The problem is, there's one or two little things that kind of ruin it altogether when you look at the kind of implications that these changes have. And I think most of you know what I'm going to mention, as it's being kind of thrown around on the forums and on Reddit. Much salt, many hate going on, as they say. But basically, the thing that is kind of ruining the overall Warrior changes, which, you know, if you look at it as a whole package, are pretty good, is the tank stance changing and Onslaught. Less so much Onslaught, because, you know, it could be very situational, but the tank stance changing is something that every Warrior wants to do, and every Warrior has been doing for years and years and years now, you know. Making it so that it costs half of your current beast gauge, which is really, you know, detrimental to fluid tank stance changing, is very similar and akin to when Bard went from instant casting to cast bar. And now we see a few years later Bard is going back to its original roots, which everyone liked, but the initial reaction to Warriors having to spend their beast gauge at such a high level is very similar to what happened with the Bard community. You know, people are pissed. And the reason people are pissed is because you know, we've been so used to having it off global and not being punished for it, that bringing in such an extreme measure to punish people who want to change stances all the time, it's just, it makes no sense. They've already increased the skill floor and heightened the skill ceiling with Warrior, so, you know, if they're making this tank stance change in an effort to, I don't know, encourage it, they can't be encouraging it, because people are going to want to stay in Deliverance now. People are going to hate Defiance more than they hated Defiance now, you know, because, you know, most tanks are wanting to optimize the DPS and only go into Defiance for Unchained and vice versa. But the problem now is, if we want to go into Defiance and utilize a skill like in a Beast, we have to make sure we have a shitload of beast gauge built up. I don't know, man, it's just, I don't personally like it, but I feel as though if they changed it so it costed maybe between 10 to 20 of the beast gauge, it would be a lot better, and it would be well, you know, a bit more well received, as opposed to, okay, if you have 80 you'll go down to 40, if you have 100 you'll go down to 50. It's just, it's going to make tank stance changing very robotic, very kind of scripted. You're not going to be able to have those situations where someone dies or your co-tank dies and you suddenly like hit on Defiance, provoke, overpower, hit the Unchained to save the DPS. You know, you're going to have to plan it like 30 seconds in advance of when you're going to change, instead of just like doing it on the fly and going in and out and in and out of the changes, which, you know, kind of sucks overall. But the other changes to Warrior are great, no problem with it. Onslaught, I think it will have its moments. Probably won't be utilized that much, but it will have its moments. But if they just address this tank stance thing, we will have some really good changes for Warrior, because Warrior's in a very good spot. It's getting more complexity in the expansion, which is good. It's just that I hope they look at the complaints that everyone's doing on the forums, and they, you know, look at rebalancing the tank stance changing, but probably won't, but whatever, you know, we'll have to deal with it. But those are my general thoughts on you know, where Warrior's going with the changes. And on that note, I'll end the video here. Let me know what you think in the comments. This video is just to kind of get back into the channel content creation, especially before Stormblood, test out the new microphone, test out the setup and whatnot. So I just thought this was a good point to talk about, since it's one of the hot topics in the Warrior community. But for now, I am out.